Hi there, welcome to kneppyinvests. The company I'll be featuring in today's video, CTI Logistics, is one of my favorite types of companies. CTI Logistics is a small cap company. They have a market cap of about $70 million and enterprise value of about $100 million. And the company is profitable. Not only are they profitable in the most recent financial year, they produced over $30 million in operational cash flow. So that means there is potential. This company is very, very cheap. So there could be something askew here with the market not fully appreciating the CTI Logistics, or there could be a value trap happening at the moment. So let's get stuck into the video and look at CTI Logistics. And the first thing we'll do is talk about the business, talk about what they actually do. Though you could determine what CTI Logistics does by the name, they're a little bit more diverse than that. And in fact, they have two main verticals. One of those verticals is logistics. We'll talk about that in the next slide. But the other vertical is transport services. And some of the things they do in this vertical include couriers, regional and interstate freight, parcel delivery, taxi trucks, fleet management, and specialized services, which include rail and wharf container handling, truck-mounted cranes, tail lift vehicles, and hot shot services. And in their logistics division, they seem to have a lot going on here, including warehousing, which includes bulk product storage, consolidation services, cross-docking, temperature-controlled and food grade, and specialized warehousing. They also have an e-commerce fulfillment, which includes order shipments, reverse logistics management, labeling, reworking, and kitting. Also CTI projects, which include quarantine, cleaning, and fumigation, asset preservation, shrink wrapping, and plant equipment and hire, and flooring services, which includes carpet and vinyl cutting services. So it seems like this company has a lot going on. I first became aware of CTI Logistics back in 2014 or 15, when there was a little bit of hype in this company. Not a lot of hype, but just a little bit of hype. You're able to see that hype when we look at the chart. And I think one of the reasons why there was hype was this company was growing during that period. Now, this company has been around for a long time. In fact, this company was founded in 1974. Almost 50 years ago. It took them 13 more years to list on the ASX back in 1987. And during that period, they were known as Darawa. They changed the name from Darawa to CTI Logistics back in 2001. So this company has been listed on the ASX for 33 years. They have joint managing directors, David Mellor and Bruce Saxfield. And the major shareholder of this company is David Watson, who has a 32% stake in the company. I think he's executive chairman or non-executive director or something like that. But the most important thing about David Watson is he is the founder of this company. So he founded this company back in 1974, and he remains on the board of the company. So he's getting on with age, more than likely, because if he founded the company 47 years ago, more than likely he's at least in his 70s. And another major shareholder of the company is Dynamic Supplies with a 9% holding. The market cap of CTI Logistics at 95 cents is $74 million. So you can see, even though they've been listed on the ASX for 33 years, they haven't grown all that much with a market cap of only 74 million. Now, just because they haven't grown much in the past doesn't mean they won't grow much in the future. I've seen this time and time again when companies go through a long period of no growth and all of a sudden they hit a very important inflection point and start growing like the dickens. And the ticker code for CTI Logistics is CLX. Now let's have a look at some of the financials of the company, looking at the full year or financial year 21 results that they released in August of 2021. Revenue, 239 million, and that was an increase from 215 million in the previous year. So all the numbers in the brackets are from 2020. Gross margins at 21%, a little bit higher than the previous year. Operational cash flow, $31.1 million. A fair bit of an increase from the previous year, which was only 23.3 million. And the main reason I did this video, or decided to do this video, was based off the operational cash flow of 31 million, which seems really high when you look at the valuation of the company, which was only 75 million in terms of market cap. But when you include the debt, which there is $25 million of debt, that means the enterprise value is 100 million. But even if you look and compare the enterprise value to the operational cash flow, there is some discrepancy there. It does look like there is potential. This company could be dirt cheap. They also have $8.2 million of profit in the previous financial year, which compared favorably to their 2020, where they were actually loss-making by $4.4 million. Now, lease liabilities runs at $16 million. And preferably, and this is just my opinion, I like to take that off from the operational cash flow. And in my opinion, when you do that, you get an operational cash flow of $15.1 million. And that's a better indication of how a company is running or performing in their operations, because lease liabilities is an ongoing cost. And a few years ago, there was an adjustment to how companies deal with lease liabilities and that sort of thing. PE ratio, 9, that's based off a profit of 8.2 million. That does seem quite low, but even lower than the PE ratio is the enterprise value to operating cash flow. If you don't include the lease liabilities in the operating cash flow, you get 3.2. But even if you do include the lease liabilities in operating cash flow, that means you get a number of 6.6. And anything lower than 6, and this is just a rule I use personally, anything lower than 6 is a possibility the company is really cheap. Anything between 6 and 10 is in that sort of grey area. So CTI Logistics right now, based off the operational cash flow minus the lease liabilities, does look like there is possibility of some good value there. One thing I always like to do is look at a company's financial report, financial statements, their most recent financial statements. And for CTI Logistics, that was the release of the full year results in August. And the first statement I always look at is the cash flow statement, which I show you here. And I'm looking for any sort of red flags. For instance, I'm wanting to see what the capital expenditure is, which is purchase for property, plant, and equipment. And it's not too high for CTI Logistics. In the most recent year, there was only $4.6 million. And then I'm seeing if there's any other high number in investing and financing activities, and there's not. In fact, because the company was operational cash flow positive by 31.1 million, and they only spent $4.6 million of capital expenditure, and there's no other big expenditure there, they were able to pay down some of the debt. So they paid $11 million of debt. So the debt has decreased by a fair bit. So it was $36 million. Now it's down to $25 million. They also paid a dividend paid to company shareholders of $1.4 million. So even though they are operational cash flow positive, the cash on hand compared to the previous year actually did decrease during the year. But with that cash they created in operations, they were able to pay down their debt. So this company is, or the management of this company is thinking of how they can use the cash they create in operations. And one of the things they have decided is to pay down their debt. And I do like that strategy. Another thing I like to do for every single company I might do a little bit of research for is looking at the trends in revenue or cash receipts, also cash flow from operations, and paying attention to the long-term or short-term debt. So in this slide, we're looking at CTI Logistics revenue, cash flow from operations, and long-term debt over the past 15 years. And in terms of revenue, I want to see it growing through time, and that's exactly what we see here. In fact, it's grown from about $50 million at the end of last decade to $239 million, and definitely growing through time. And when there was a little bit of hype in this company back between about 2013 and 14, that's when we did see really good growth in revenue. And when that hype died away back in 2015, that's when we saw a dip in the revenue. We're also seeing cash flow from operations starting to increase. There was a period of time when cash flow from operations went sideways, but the last 2 years were record years for their operational cash flow. And probably one of the reasons for that is because of how companies deal with lease liabilities right now. The other thing to note here is debt has been falling over the past 7 years. In fact, it's been halved during that period from 62.7 million to 31.9 million. So it looks like everything is heading in the right direction for this company. On to looking some of the charts for CTI Logistics, and this is the monthly chart going all the way back to 2001 when they changed the name from Darawa to CTI Logistics. And there was a lot of positive sentiment around this company from 2001 all the way to the end of 2013. And remember, I was talking about there was a bit of hype in this company during 2013, and that was leading up to the share price top. There was a little bit of a blip during the GFC. Share price fell from about 95 cents to 44 cents, which, funny enough, is also that low of 44 cents during the GFC, is also the low the company's share price experienced during the COVID-19 financial panic. But there was a long period of time here where the share price of this company was falling away from that high of $2.75 at the start of 2014 to that low of 44 cents during the COVID-19 financial panic in 2020. So that's a 6-year period where the share price of this company was in a long-term downtrend. But it does look like the share price is wanting to move into at least a short to medium-term uptrend, and we can confirm that when we look at the daily chart. So let's have a look at the daily chart and just be able to see how the share price is wanting to move into that uptrend. And actually, this is the weekly chart, not a daily chart, because this goes back to when the share price reached a high of $2.75 late in 2013, start of 2014, before the share price moved into a long-term downtrend all the way to that low of 44 cents, which actually wasn't reached during the COVID-19 financial panic. It was actually reached in May after March 23rd, which was the depths of that panic. There was a short period of time during 2017 and 18 when it looked like the share price wanted to move into an uptrend, but that potential move into an uptrend failed. And we have seen a bit of an increase in volume during the later period, the second half of 2021. And that's coinciding with the share price wanting to move into a short to medium term uptrend. We did see a share price reach about $1.06 a few months ago. It has pulled back to 80 cents, but it looks like the 100-week moving average acted as support, sort of share price bounced off that moving average and has started to move higher. So good positive signs when we're looking at the chart for CTI Logistics. So it coincides with also some good financial news. So right now, this is a potential buy for those who are willing to buy into a small cap company that is profitable and also operational cash flow positive. That's all I have for this video on CTI Logistics, a small cap company, market cap $75 million, enterprise value $100 million, profitable and operational cash flow positive by $31 million in one financial year. So definite possible value here for this company, and looks like the chart or the share price is wanting to move into a new uptrend. If you have any questions about this company or any other company on the ASX, I'd love to hear your opinions, your thoughts, your questions. So leave it in the comment section of this video. Otherwise, I am not a financial advisor. If you do need financial advice, make sure you seek out someone who is qualified and can speak to your own financial needs. That's it for this video. Have a good day. Bye.